All right, welcome to another edition of the Coaches Show. I'm Cody Eastis, once again joined by head coach of the Pratt High Greenbacks, Brent Holting. Brent, thanks for sitting down. Before we get going, I want to give a shout out to, we picked up a new sponsor for this week, Brad McDonald over there in Wichita, big supporter of all things Greenbacks and youth, just loves the show, always watches it, called, said he wanted to sponsor the rest of the season. So
That's
this
awesome.
show and the ones going forward, I want to give a big shout out to All Metal Recycling. They can turn your trash into cash, so give those guys a call. And again, big thank you to Brad McDonald and those guys for.
Brad does a great job refereeing too.
Yeah. See him on the
Very
field
involved.
and
Awesome.
involved with everything and a big fan of the show. So appreciate that, Brad. Now let's get to that win at Smokey Valley. Before we do,
A lot nicer.
got some applause for you there.
A lot nicer. Yeah.
Always great to pick up a win. 51-6 was the score Friday night at Smokey Valley. Improved to 3-3 on the season for the Greenbacks. Got Nickerson coming up Friday night. We'll get to that, but let's go over that Friday night game a little bit. Smokey Valley, we said it in the pregame going into that. It was hard to tell on paper really what that meant for either team. You know, I thought we were better than our record on paper,
Right.
and I wasn't sure if they were as down as their record showed. I think we showed more of the team we were, and Smokey Valley may prove they're just a young team after seeing them.
Very young.
Really young, probably going to have some better years coming up. But that game Friday night, Greenbacks really able to do about anything they wanted, scored from every aspect of the game, and we'll get into that. But overall thoughts on that Friday night?
Like you said, I thought we took care of business. You know, we wanted the ball because I thought, we just kind of been in a funk a little bit. And then we've had a couple tough games. Like you said, we're 3-3, but we're 2 plays away probably from being 5-1. And that's hard, and just, it's hard. Feels like you're Atlas holding the world on your shoulders. And so we wanted to get something going early. We scored in 3 plays. Thought we came out really well offensively. The only big disappointment of the night was the 17-play drive that they had.
Yeah, that next one they reeled off was really about an 8.5, 9-minute drive. Didn't result in points, but
it keeps our offense
their
off
first
the
drive
field.
of the night. Yeah, and we said it. That was their best defense, was keeping their offense out there and our offense off the field.
Right, and so I thought after that, we kind of changed again. We changed a couple things lineman-wise. We just weren't pulling the trigger quick enough. I think we were waiting. And that's a good test. Smokey's still a physical. They'll get downhill on you. They do a good job of that. But I thought our kids answered the call, and I thought after that we settled in, got some outs, like you said, had an interception return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, a fumble return for a touchdown. Anytime you can score 3 touchdowns in special teams / defense, you're going to feel really good.
Who was the fumble return for a touchdown? No, that's right. Noah Riley with the fumble return. Yeah, and to mention some names, Owen Schmidt on the 51-yard punt return, Ethan Steinmates on the pick 6, and then that's right. I thought, from our viewpoint, we thought it was a strip. We thought Noah just stripped it out and just a straight strip and score on that. I didn't see the ball hit the
Tay
ground.
Punched out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tay punched it out, and Owen was Johnny on the spot and did a good job of taking it in there. I think he broke a tackle on the way in.
Yeah.
I thought our wall was set up exceptionally well, and then I thought Owen did a great job of following blocks and setting up blocks. And
had a great cutback at about the 20, 25-yard line there to get to the end zone.
And then efficiently, we did set a new school record, and that's what Steve Landry, who does all of our stats, and I were talking about. We're going to have to put an asterisk and say, this was in a win, but the old school record for plays in a game was 25, and we shattered it. We only ran 17 plays.
Wow, I knew it had to be very minimal because I think at halftime we were maybe
11.
at 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and we only ran 6 in the second half. Our varsity ran 3, scored, and then we took them off, and we had one more possession with the young kids, ran 3.
Wow, not very often do you see 17 offensive plays result in 51 points in a win.
Right. So that's what I said. We have to put it out. Usually when you say they only ran 17 plays, you think they got ran off the field. Well, 17 plays at 51 points, that's a pretty good average, 3 points a play. So I thought our offense did well. I thought we were very efficient. Obviously, if you look at it yardage total-wise or whatever, you're like, man, there's not the huge – but we just didn't run very many plays.
Yeah.
We scored really efficiently. We had good field position when we got the ball. So I was pleased, and I think our kids were pleased. It was fun to get that win. It was fun to get right back on the right side of the ledger, and have a game where everyone contributed.
And speaking of contributing, Max Uni, 7 carries, 96 yards on the night, 3 touchdowns, got him over the 1,000-yard mark for the season. Big accomplishment for a high school running back to hit that 1,000-yard mark, and for him to do it in week 6. I imagine he'll just tack on from there.
Yeah, Max is climbing up, the Pratt record books. Max is closing in. He's got a shot of being the number 2 all-time rusher in Pratt history.
Boy, that would put him above Kobe Tresner. Yeah, which, man, those are big names in Pratt High, in Pratt High lore.
Right. And it just speaks to the career Max has had. He's got a very real shot. In fact, he may be really close. He may pass it this week of being the second all-time leading scorer in Pratt history in terms of scores and points scored. So he's climbing up there. I thought he did a great job. I thought Tay ran the ball great. I thought our O-line, anytime we can have our 5 O-linemen in there together, and in that same group, I think they're growing every week. Communicating better. I thought they did some good things. And then, we didn't have to pass much, but I think we were 2-2 in the passing game as well.
Yeah, and speaking of O-line, did we see the ghost play with Brock Bourgeois?
That was 7 tackle.
Okay, I don't know what that was, but all of a sudden, Brock Bourgeois in the end zone on the 2-point conversion. And I had to double check. Is that right? Is that Brock Bourgeois? And the way he was celebrating coming off the field, like that has to be a lineman because people that are in the end zone don't normally celebrate that much.
Right. So, he was pretty pumped up.
Yeah. So anytime you can get a lineman in the end zone, carrying the ball, not just falling on one that's on the ground, always fun.
It was the same one, Drake. Last year we ran a few times, and Brock's a big, strong kid. And we talked about it. He had a lot of family in town last week.
Okay.
Coming in from Louisiana, so we thought that'd be really fun. Get him the ball, and it's a good play for us. Brock does a good job. He didn't really get touched. He had a guy I thought was going to, and that kid made a business decision that was probably a good one and got out of Brock's way. And Brock got in the end zone. He's a big, strong kid. So, that's a play we have fun with. And it's a play we like on the goal line because we're giving it to one of our bigger kids, put his head down and try to get us 2 or 3 yards. And so, it's always fun when you can do that and involve a few more people in the game.
Yeah, I was going to ask about, some of the younger players getting some varsity minutes, but with that few of offensive plays ran, really a lot more minutes on the defensive side of things Friday night. And I thought they did a pretty good job. Smokey Valley ended up squeaking in there final seconds to take the shutout away, but those younger kids getting a lot of minutes on the defensive side of the ball.
And, I was really proud of our kids. Those kids are really growing. We don't always talk about this, but, that group improved to 6-0 this week in JV games, and they went, and like you said, Smokey's young, and we understood that they were going to play a lot of their young kids again on JV on Monday night, and they did. I think 5 or 6, 7 starters played on Monday night, started for them, and our JV won that convincingly. I thought they played by far their best game of the season. We won 50-8 there. So really proud of those kids and how they put it together. We were able to run so much more of our offense at the younger level than we've been able to in the past, and that's a great thing to see.
Yeah, just a compliment of how well those kids are grasping the offense and picking it up.
Yeah, no, they're doing some great things. So excited about them, excited about our future.
How do you then transition from that big win over Smokey Valley on the varsity and junior varsity level, and then come up with Nickerson Friday night with that mindset of, Nickerson maybe a similar style opponent to Smokey Valley as far as youth and record wise? How do you get the mind up and get the attitude and the hype there at practice for your 7th game of the season?
Well, we always talked about it. My motto coming in here when I took this job was always kind of, I give out a big thing that kind of talks about my philosophy to freshman parents every year is, be your best, be the best you can be. And so when you do that, you don't have to worry about the opponent you're playing. It's all about you. Are you doing the best you can? And I think there's that. I think the big thing, we haven't rang the bell yet. The Zerger, our seniors talked about that.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
We're 3-0 in road games. We're 0-3 in home games. We just haven't played very well at home, or well enough anyway. So I think that's a pretty powerful motivator for those kids at senior night. They want to go ring the bell afterwards. And I said, Nickerson's struggling a little bit. Yeah. But they've got some athletes on the perimeter. They can make some plays. They dropped probably 2 or 3 touchdowns versus Cheney that they could have had if they were open. So I think any game, you only get 8, 9 of these guaranteed a year. Playing football is special. We put so much time into it, so much effort all throughout the year. It's not, you're around us. It's that football doesn't end when football season ends. You're preparing all year round for it. And so to only have that, I think that's what makes Friday night so special, is there's so few of them. It's an event. So, we told our kids all week, don't waste and don't look back and say, man, I wish I would have played harder that game, or I wish I would have done this. You only get so many of these experiences, and for the seniors, they're winding down no matter how far of a playoff run we get. They're winding down, so I think we've talked about enjoying it, enjoying the moment, being in the moment, and being the best you can be.
Jumped into Nickerson a little bit there, but I want to back up a little bit and touch on the awards from Friday night and into Practice Scout Team Player of the Week and the things like that. We gave out, let's see, our State Farm Player of the Game. I think we gave it to Brock Bourgeois just for scoring on that 2-point conversion. I'd have to go back and double check the tape, but I'm pretty sure, we were as excited as he was for getting in the end zone, and then hit the Mead Lumber hit stick. It looked like Tay Wilson had a good one there out in the open flat area there. It was on the far side of the field. That was one that stood out to us. What were the awards that were handed out on your end?
Offense, we gave it to just collectively offense. I thought our offense as a whole, our offensive line thought did really well blocking back all of those guys. So we just kind of said collectively, thought our offense played really well. There was no huge thing, but we thought in general, like you said, you run 17 plays, score 51 points, you feel pretty good about things. Defensively, excuse me. Defensively, we gave it to Ethan Steinmates.
He had a great game aside from that pick six. Still had a good game on top of that. That was the thing.
Not just the pick six. He had a good game on top of that. He's getting better and better at linebacker. He moved him back there a couple weeks ago, and he's getting better and better there at learning, pulling the trigger. And Ethan, is going to hit you. And then hit stick was, we have the benefit of watching all the plays on review. On Ethan's interception, big cause of that.
Was there a big one?
Colin hammered the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I didn't see that. So
Colin Strong had a good hit on the quarterback there, so he got the hit stick this week. And then Scout Team Player of the Week was Matthew Garnett. Matt's a kid that came out this year for the first time, and man, he is we talked about improvement, but his improvement from the beginning of practice to now has been awesome to see. And he is a great kid, and he's a kid that jumps in on everything. Like you never have to say, "Hey, Matt, will you get in?" Matt's already in.
That's the type of kid you want.
Yeah, and he's a kid that's doing good things, and is a kid that's got the potential to be a varsity player next year because he's worked so dang hard and learned so fast at it. So we really enjoy being around Matt, and he's done great things for us this year.
And speaking of hit sticks, had we been able to give it to anybody on the field, it may have been number Smokey. 34 for Smokey Valley. Unfortunately, Kyler Barker was the recipient of that one. I think he had his welcome to varsity football moment there Friday night.
He came over,
popped up from it well.
No, Kyler's a tough kid. He got caught. Obviously it was a penalty blindside. You can't do that. Back when we were playing.
Yeah, that's what Kelly and I said. That used to be a call played. The coach would call that into the defense.
Crackback. But he got it pretty good. But he popped up to his credit and he said, "Yeah, I'm awake now." So that was a lot of fun. It was funny because his older brother Jack is 34 too, and we said, "Kyler, you just see 34 in your nightmares?" Or he's adamant that he doesn't. He's scared of no one. But no, I was proud of his toughness because he got
bounced up from it great. Good. But it was a heck of a hit. We were on the wrong side of that one there.
Yeah, that was a decleater.
On that Nickerson, a little tail of the tape there, compliments of Kelly Simon. Played Nickerson 37 times. The history between Pratt versus Nickerson. Pratt is 29-8 in that historical matchup with the 76% win percentage. Might be probably not one of our farthest dating back matchups, but first game played in 1921.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 102 years ago, first matchup between Pratt and Nickerson. Hard to believe that
that's crazy.
Played that long. Yeah. League titles, 13 on Pratt, 2 for Nickerson. Really, that Pratt-Nickerson matchup, Pratt's had the better end of that in that historical matchup. The rest is all Kelly's opinion, which I'm not sure who's interested in that, so I'll save that for the air. But the stats we always appreciate from Kelly. I thought that was neat, though. 1921, first time that Pratt and Nickerson met up on the gridiron.
Played more than 37 times.
Yeah, so you'd think in between that span, must have been some gaps there in that matchup that they didn't play. But last year, had them at Nickerson. That score was 55-14. And almost as similar to that, where I think we scored on the first 4 plays first five of offense, similar to that offensive efficiency that we saw Friday night at Smokey Valley. Don't expect the same thing and never expect the same thing from a team twice.
Right.
They've seen us once. Some of those athletes going to be back. I would think that it's not going to be the same outcome. Hopefully it is, as a Pratt fan and a Pratt broadcaster, but looking forward to a big game Friday night against Nickerson. What are what are the overall thoughts? I know you spoke a little bit, looking past Nickerson, and you don't like to do that much, but well, then I won't make you. Just a lot of big matchups going on this week. Everybody's going to have their eyes around the state, out west, out east, so for future implications as far as where Pratt may go, in that week 10 matchup, district play. So be interesting to keep our eye on some of those scores. I know you guys will be. We will be as well. I don't have anything else for you, Coach, unless you got any hard-hitting questions for the interviewer.
No, senior night, we want.
That's
we
right.
Want everybody
Pink
there.
out night, senior night. Pink out night, so big
cancer
night.
awareness. A lot of big things happen this week. Cross country runs tomorrow for here at Pratt. League.
For league. So, yeah, if you can get out, what time's that start?
I think they said the varsity would go off at 4.
Okay.
They thought.
Yeah, so that'll be down at 6th Street Park. They run down there. We've got some great runners this year that should do well in that league
I know
meet.
boys especially should contend. So yeah, that'll be fun. No, it's always fun to play here. We love our home crowd. We love the atmosphere here. We want it to be loud, crazy on Friday night. It's the last guaranteed home game the seniors will play. Send those guys off on a high note.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a great night. So if you can make it down to the game, make sure to get out there. The gates will open at 6:30, I believe. If you can't make it to the game, or if you are a remote viewer and just like to watch the Greenbacks, tune into the Greenback Athletics on YouTube or My Country 98.3 app. You can find us in both places to catch the broadcast, watch the game. Should be a great night, but get out there and support your Greenbacks, and best of luck to you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right.